Let's learn how to use a list in C#. So we'll create a brand new project, File, New Project, Web Application.NET Framework. We're going to call this List Sample. Click OK. And we want an empty MVC. Click OK. Now a list is similar to an array list, but the difference being a list is strongly typed. Both of them are dynamic and can grow and shrink in the number of elements. Both handle memory the same type of way. But since the list is strongly typed, the system doesn't have to guess and determine what type of element is inside of the list. So that's going to improve the efficiency. So that's what we like to use rather than an array list. So let's go ahead and come to the controller. We'll right mouse click, add a brand new controller, and we're going to go ahead and leave it an empty, add, leave it as home, or change it to be home controller, since that's the default route. And it's going to go ahead and make our new controller for us. And then we're going to go put the code inside of our controller of how to work with the list. Now, the way that we work with the list is first we need to declare that variable. So we specify it by saying we want to work with the list, and then you have to specify the data type of that list. We're going to do a list of string. We'll go ahead and give it a name. We'll call it list names equals new list string. So that creates our brand new list for us. And if you get an error that it doesn't know who list is, make sure that you have collections coming into your system here. Next thing I want to do is now I just want to start working with the list and adding names. List names dot add. Let's add bugs, and we'll add two more, and we're going to add bugs and Daffy and Mickey. So I now have 3 items in my list. Now if I tried to add an int to this list, it's not going to be happy. Oh, come back up to here. I see that I missed a typo. Make sure you're calling the constructor. Sorry, right there. Make sure you have a constructor symbol on that list string. So a list has to be the same data type, whereas an array list does not. So I can actually work with this list just like I do an array list, and I can go and access all the elements in it. There's a whole bunch of different methods you might want to take a look at sometime. List names dot. The add will add elements to the list. Another good one is clear, that removes all the elements from the list. Contains goes to check and see if there's a specific item in your list. Same thing with our find. Finds the first element based upon a specific function. Our insert, which allows us to put an item in the list in a specific location. Remove, which says remove the first occurrence of an item. Remove at, remove a specified element of the list. We can sort the list, and there's a whole bunch of other methods you can work with when dealing with this list. So you might want to get take some time and learn how to work with that list. So let's go ahead and process through the list just like we did the array. And we could say for int iCount is equal to 0, and as long as iCount is less than the list dot. Now remember, on the array list we said count. Same thing works here. And then we can say iCount plus plus. This will allow us to process through every item in the list. And let's go ahead and use our view bag again. And this time, let's see, we've used other words like stuff, content, data, array list data. We could say the word output. Output's not a reserved word. Output is just a word. I could have said Greg, and it still wouldn't have mattered. In fact, I'll show you that. We'll do my favorite food, spam. So viewBag.spam is equal to viewBag.spam plus, and then let's go ahead and put a p tag. And once again, remember, I drop it to the next line just because I want to make it a little bit more readable for you. List names bracket iCount, and then we'll close off that p tag. And then once our list is all set up, we can send that back to the view. So let's go make a view. Right mouse click in the view, add view. It uses the name of our method called index. uncheck use layout page this time. Click add. And it makes our new view. And then right here I can use razor. I can use an HTML helper. And we're going to say raw. And we're going to say take some data and cast it as a string. And what we want to cast is the viewBag dot spam. And so this will now take whatever we have in spam, which is our p tags and all the data from the list, and turn it into a string. Even though it is a string, we're making sure it's a string, and then displaying that as HTML. And let's see if we run it, if we see Bugs, Daffy, and Mickey show up. And we're now using a list, which is strongly typed, rather than an array list, which is not strongly typed. And they are dynamic, so you can grow and shrink that list. You can add, insert, remove, clear, and that's the wonderful thing about list, is they're very flexible and they're efficient to use. And there's our list. So that's how we work with the list in C# with MVC.